Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the GOWEN Racing Podcast here on the channel, on Spotify, whatever you listen to. We are back for episode, I think, 26 or something like that.
Yep.
Um,
26.
we have a lot to talk about this week. So we had an interesting cup race. Definitely one of the better ones of the season. We had a very interesting start to a Formula One race in Britain, as well as we have a tiny little bit of NASCAR 21 news to talk about that we're actually going to start off the podcast with in just a moment. But I am joined, as usual, by my good friends of Jay Cook and Matt O'Brien. Jay, we'll start with you. How you doing this week? Anything change over the last week?
Uh, then I got my second COVID shot today. Not really. I'm honestly fully expecting to feel like crap in a couple of hours. I'm not expecting to be one of those people that don't have symptoms with their second shot.
Matt, how we doing?
I've been going into work, working on some. Well, obviously, I can't talk about exactly what I'm working on, but let's just say, um, not particularly enjoying what I'm doing right now. But it's like that sometimes. Sometimes you just get screwed. But other
That's
than
the
that,
way it
decent.
is. Life's
Yeah.
not fair, as they say.
Yeah, I won that league race one day,
There you
so
go.
that was pretty good.
PSES?
Yep.
Was it the one? I think you posted it on Twitter. Truck series?
Yep. Yep.
Nice. Um, my week was all right. I'm alive for another week, so I can't complain. So we'll start off with some NASCAR 21 news. So Motorsport Games came out and posted what two
Pictures
two screenshots
or
of
three,
New
something like that.
Hampshire, two or three of New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I mean, overall, I mean, if I remember, I'll post the actual pictures on the YouTube video at this point. But overall, I mean, what do you guys make of just the graphics? Obviously, that's all we really saw this weekend. In my opinion, I'd give it out of a 10. I'd give it like a 6.5. Which that sounds low, but to me that's actually a pretty solid rating. I try to be really tough with my rating scales because it doesn't look, Formula One 2021 good, but it looks still like in my opinion, a really big step up. Like I'd give F1 graphics, they look tremendous. I'd give it an 8. So, but yeah, I'm thinking like a 6.5 would be kind of my rating with that. I don't know what you guys think about the graphics. I'll start with you, Jay. What did you think of what you saw there in those screenshots?
I think I'm gonna give my rating, but I'll say right off the bat, it's gonna be elevated just because I was not expecting the game to look like it does. So I'll go with an 8, and that's simply because I'm just kind of surprised with it. And honestly, if you ask me in a couple more weeks when I see more of the game, it'll probably go down a bit. But just currently, what I'm seeing at the moment, with especially as well with obviously, they're posted to look the best they can possibly look. So it's possible that there's a little bit of manufacturing with photos going on there, but I was very impressed to see how good the lighting looks, to see how much improved a lot of the stuff is, especially like when they showed that screenshot of the fans, and then also the pit boxes and also spotters on top of the media box as well. I was so far impressed with what I'm seeing, but not impressed with anything else.
What about you, Matt? What did you think?
I mean, I'm not gonna give like a number rating, but I'll just say it looks good. Like
Yeah,
I think
it
that's about
does
as
look
simple as
good.
like it looks good. It looks
Yeah.
good. Um, Obviously we want to see actual gameplay at this point. This teasing stuff isn't. This isn't it.
Oh,
Motorsport games. This
yeah.
isn't
Well,
it.
so
We'll get into
essentially,
that.
yeah, they dropped like two screenshots, and then yesterday they dropped like a 30-second clip of
Mm-hmm.
might as well call it screenshots, but basically more like a cinematic camera of just moving down a straightaway.
Yeah.
And it
Um.
showed the crowd moving, which is a nice little touch that we'd never really
Yeah.
see in the current
I don't know.
games.
I don't know. One thing I was a little concerned with the graphics is if you notice the one cinematic where you can see the tree line in the background, it looks really pixelated.
I did not, but I will definitely look at it again. Um,
Yeah. It's a little hard to see because it's so far, but like you can see like that tree line don't look good, but it could be like a render distance thing too.
right.
Um, but like I mean, it looks good. I mean, it looks unbelievably better than the Heat 5.
It
Unbelievably
looks like
better.
a lot more attention to detail. Um,
It looks like what I would expect. Like what we need. So, and
yes.
there's something funny just to point out. The first two drivers we know that are in the game at least the two numbers, because we don't really know who's exactly going to be in the game just because of license and stuff like that. The 78 and the 53. There's just a little comedy in that, but
Rick
because you
Ware
can see
Racing and
because the
BJ
one picture
McLeod.
shows the 53 pit stall. So
Um, I mean,
but
it looks, yeah, I mean, it looks good. Obviously, immediately, I'm like, there's definitely like room for improvement, but
there's
overall,
always
a
room
huge
for
step up, and I like it. If it looks like that in game, I mean, I'm very excited, at least graphics wise, for NASCAR 21. But of course, we still do not have a single bit of gameplay for this game that we know based off of documents is coming out late Q3, which is September. So we're
less than
closing
two
in on
months.
we're closing in
It,
on
it,
August.
it's most it's less than 2 months unless it's a late September release. And I mean we've been critical. It's like what's going on? Honestly, this is what this isn't how you're supposed to market a game. Simple as that.
We're not being shown the most important part of the game, which is how the cars are driving and stuff. I want to see both gameplay as well on a controller and a wheel, if possible. But
Um,
because I'm curious to see how the controller will play, because obviously it's R Factor 2 physics, and I've played R Factor 2 on a controller. It was better, in my opinion, to deal with the car than like Heat 5 on a controller, but there was still definitely a lot of flaws with controller play on R Factor 2. Even
but
with the wheel, I would like to see a lot of improvements with the physics from R Factor 2. So hopefully they have worked on it even more for the NASCAR version.
mhm. Yeah, and one thing I do like so far is, and it's not confirming it, but the pictures appear to be, is it looks like different times of days
Mm-hmm.
are there because the screenshots they showed were morning in the morning, and then the teaser video they showed, it was like at middle of the afternoon.
Right.
So hopefully day to night transitions.
Um,
Frankly, it would be absolutely ridiculous if there wasn't day to night
I,
transitions. I
I'll
think.
say this. Obviously, now we know it's on the Unreal Engine, as well as they're working with Studio 397, R Factor 2 Studio. I would be unbelievably shocked if we did not have dynamic day to night transitions, because
Yep.
Unreal Engine makes it obviously easy to do it. Plus, R Factor 2 Studio helping out a ton with this game. They have day to night transitions in that game, as well as dynamic weathers
Mm-hmm.
in that game. And I really, really hope that maybe not this game, but it would be really cool if they worked with Studio 397 to bring in a weather system as well, because it was that I feel like in R Factor 2, that's probably the best dynamic weather I've seen in a racing game. Because like in F1, the clouds and stuff, they just kind of appear out of nowhere. Just like they all of a sudden are
Mm.
covering the
And it's
track.
really fast. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, if we don't have rain in this game, it's fine for
right.
me.
It'd just be
But
cool.
at least clouds
Yeah,
like moving through the sky would be really really
and like
nice.
R Factor, I intentionally like turned on. It started in dry and it went to rain later in the race, and I could see the actual storm coming in. It just didn't come out of nowhere. You could literally, I was watching it lap by lap, getting closer and closer to the track. I was doing it at the Daytona Road Course, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And I mean, of course, it helps with knowing when it's coming instead of just wondering when it's going to appear out of nowhere. But yeah, that was so cool. That would be obviously, like, I don't think that's a major thing that needs to be in the game. But I said, like, at least give us cloud cover and like dynamic cloud movement, and if possible, allow that to change the track temperature as well, and like affect the handling of the car.
And also like just track evolution in general with like rubber being added should change the track too.
Be able to run different lines, because like if you have to
Oh my
rubber in the
god.
top line or something, and then eventually it gets rubbered in enough,
I
you
mean
could just
that's a huge problem in every racing game is multiple in NASCAR at least multiple lines. I hope we see it because I mean, even iRacing has the issue of multiple lines don't exist generally. There are exceptions, but like even iRacing can't get it right all the time.
Yeah, I feel like it's very hard to get it. But
And like they're the same with like iRacing's fix is at this point is adding grip strips, which is just it's horrible. I'm just
yeah, we
gonna
don't
put
need that.
the grip strips. The grip strips are horrible, and talking way further ahead, just Gary will understand it after we do Richmond and Nitro this week of how bad grip strips are. But yeah, I hope we have options because like NASCAR Heat, like every track single file, man. The only exception is what Iowa,
Yeah, you can go wherever you want there.
but Iowa's not even going to be in the game, so
How do you know?
because it's not on the schedule this year.
What if we have Xfinity and trucks though?
It's not on any.
Oh, it's
NASCAR
not on
schedule.
anything. Oh, really?
Correct.
Why not? I didn't even know that. Is it
I
because of
think
COVID?
it's COVID, and
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
and the track just isn't very financially good, so
I actually didn't know that.
it
Oh,
is what
maybe
it
we're
is.
never racing there again.
Yeah, no, and this it'd be very disappointing.
I was gonna say that's a fun track.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, so the Olympic break is now underway. So hopefully we get some
it has to
gameplay.
be. I mean, they're teasing the game.
Yes,
It
I think this
it's
weekend
happening
is gonna happen.
It's this week or next week. It's happening. It has to happen. Well, we've been saying it has to happen for the last month, so I mean, like, I don't even know.
Yeah, either way, I mean, they still waited too long. If they drop anything this
Mhm.
weekend or not, it was still too long of a wait.
You have to imagine it's this week, though. This week or next week, like an actual reveal happens.
Yeah, I would hope.
And I don't want no goddamn cinematic shots or like non-gameplay shot. Like they're gonna show the cars going around the track from like a TV camera shot, and
Yeah,
that's
we
what
don't want that.
that's what I'm expecting from the trailer, 100%. And I'm fully expecting that to be it. And guess what? I'll be pissed if it is. But it's what I'm fully expecting.
I also expect that.
I mean, honestly, at this point, if there's not gameplay in the trailer, they have massively failed.
I think they need to just. It's very straightforward.
Russ-
They can just give us one
Gary!
video going around a road course, around an oval. Give me one video around Coda. That'll give me like everything I need to know on how the car drives.
Or yeah, if there's not going to be gameplay in the trailer, then like right after that, or maybe the next day after that, then start releasing gameplay. Like you
Yeah.
have to at this point, you have to have gameplay when you announce the game, since you've waited so late. Like if there's not gameplay when you announce it, what are you doing?
I feel
Yeah.
like the race introductions are going to be really big this game too. But
Probably.
I guess one of the head guys that's working on with Motorsport Games on this game used to work with Codemasters on F1 as well. I read into, so that's another positive sign. But yeah, we still don't know much. So we know there's a paint booth.
Yeah.
Woo.
I think I speak for all three of us. We're incredibly frustrated at this point. And it's almost to like getting to the point where like I don't know when the trailer drops, I'll be that hyped. Cuz it's like that annoying.
Yeah,
that
because
this
like the
is
hype
how
has
they're
come and
approaching.
gone,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just like, oh, it's finally here. Like, okay, this should
Yeah.
have been out a long time
Like-
ago
Yeah,
like,
already.
instead of
we'll get
excitement,
it.
it's going to be fucking finally.
You did something you should have done a month and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly. Unless
kind of-
something like absolutely crazy gets announced, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
be like, "Oh, mega hype!" But
Yeah.
if it's just a basic game and they took this long to announce it, then what the heck are you doing?
I think they got
Unless-
something up their sleeve, but
That's
I
what
don't
I
know
kind of
what.
think too. If they're taking this long, you know. But I mean, you never.
So
know.
so I it sounds ridiculous, but technically we are in quarter 3.
What are they going to drop the
I
game
know,
next month? I hope not, because I still got to finish my Heat 5 career mode.
Well, they said back
Well-
half of it as well, or back part of it.
Well,
So.
well, yeah, but they could be bluffing a bit too. You never know. Right. Like,
Yeah, but that was in a financial
but
document to like their investors. I don't think they're gonna
true,
bluff to them.
Yeah.
true. But like, let's just say they announce it, and like literally like 3 days, it's like, oh yeah, the game's coming out.
That would not be good.
I don't think it would be good, but I'm almost expecting it at this point.
It would be a very NASCAR thing to do, in my
I mean,
opinion.
we see how like the Monster Games, you know, that the like the Tony Stewart games, they're like, yep, oh yeah, it comes out next week, by the way,
Yeah,
and you're just like, huh?
and then you forget about it in like 4 days,
Oh yeah, I'm like,
and then they're like, "Oh, next year we got a
they
new
like
one."
they released DLC for the game. I'm like, really?
I heard about that. Some like super late models or something. I don't know what
Yeah,
it
I was
was,
like,
but
whatever.
yeah,
I have zero.
so glad I
Here's the
didn't
thing.
buy that.
You want to know? Here's the thing with it. You know what exactly it is. You know exactly
Yeah,
what that game is, and I have zero. And I'm already playing it.
I watched a couple minutes of gameplay, and it was exactly what I thought it was.
It's just NASCAR Heat,
Like I heard the physics are different, not like unbelievably different, but like they're
but it's
better.
NASCAR Heat.
But yeah, like it's the same exact approach as NASCAR Heat.
Yeah,
So
because it's a Unity
you're going
game.
full throttle around these short tracks that SRX is racing on. But yeah, I got asked a ton by people. They're like, please make a video on this game. I was like, I'm not buying this game. I'm sorry. I have zero interest in it.
You know, and a part of a part of it is like I kind of realized a lot of these people they literally only have played NASCAR Heat. Like,
Yeah.
you know Kyle Busch 05 and Nitro.
Yep.
I was in a party with like Gail and a few others, and he's like, "Yeah, the only two games I've ever played are Fortnite and NASCAR Heat."
Man. And
And
like you're seeing
everyone
them.
in the party, everyone in the party is just like, your expectations are so low. It's like you don't even you don't even know what it like an actual good game is.
Well, it's like I'm seeing some people play that are like kind of in a similar situation where they only like played NASCAR, and then they're hopping onto F1 for the first time ever, and
And they're
like they're
like,
just blown away by like the presentation of this game and just the graphics and
yeah,
how it plays and the career mode, and it's just like for us it's like we've been getting F1's been doing this for like 5 years. They've been pushing in this direction. We're used
yeah,
to it, but like and then that's why our expectations are set so I think high for NASCAR. And why we're like
yeah.
continuously I'm not disappointed. I've never been well other than like Heat Evolution or something. But
Well,
like
yeah,
I
that
wasn't
was.
disappointed with Heat 4/5. I mean I enjoyed playing it. But like obviously when you set the
Like the
bar
games are
to F1.
fine. The games are fine. It's just like, but like I have a hard time calling the Heat games legitimately good games.
I like them a lot more than the Utechnix games.
They do. They're kind of like the same tier, but they do different things better.
Physics is better with Utechnix.
Yeah.
For me it's weird though, because I
That
came
was the
in
one thing that I felt like was better.
yeah, I agree. That's like the
But
only
like the
thing.
thing,
And the
But that's
paint
a
booth.
pretty big thing.
Paint booth
but
as well.
that's like the hugest thing.
Yeah, that's like a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's one, maybe, and the paint booth too. Maybe it's one or two things that they did better. The physics part is
Like
And like,
incredibly large percentage of the stuff
yeah,
you need.
and you think like tracks like in you take this game, the tire wear was different at every track. You know, like Atlanta, you would literally lose 2.5 to 3 seconds over the run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But in NASCAR Heat, literally every track, the fall off is the same. It's like around a second to a second and a half.
mm-hmm.
And it's the same way. The car just gets looser in an unnatural way. And I hope it's different. It has to be different. But
I mean, it's based off of the R Factor 2 tire model as well.
yeah, so
And I haven't
it,
done a race on R Factor long enough to test it out, but like, so I have no knowledge on their tire model.
but you know something, Gary, though.
Hmm.
You know, once the game actually does get announced, you know, maybe you can maybe get someone on the podcast from, you know,
Rusky Walrus.
maybe,
I can try.
or someone, or like an actual like person from motorsport games that can actually talk about it.
We'll see. We'll try. I'll see what I can do. I got Rusty on DM. I can get him.
Oh yeah, I know you have him on DM.
But
That one
yeah.
tweet you did last night that was tilting.
Oh man,
It was,
I found
it's
the
like your best
algorithm.
tweet ever.
You just tweet
It was
about
about the best.
NASCAR 21 and your tweets pop off.
That tweet, that's gotta be your most liked tweet.
Oh, I had one that hit like 700 before. It was a meme with
Oh.
Dale Earnhardt. But like I've done 3. Jay knows what it is. I've done like 3
I
NASCAR
think I
21
remember.
tweets, and they've all had like 400 likes now.
Yeah.
Rusty was like, "Oh my god, you got me!" He thought I was actually about to like
leak something that
yeah.
shouldn't be leaked.
Oh,
So you're telling me Rusty has
Wait,
told
so
you
that
stuff?
that means that Rusty's told you something.
no,
Huh?
like he didn't even know. He just thought I somehow found something out.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh. We
I
know how
legitimately,
Gary is.
haven't been told anything.
See this, as soon as this podcast ends and all the streams end, then he's gonna start blurting out random stuff about the game.
All dirt tracks are not in the game. They couldn't figure it out. No, I don't know.
I mean,
that would be people would riot if Eldora and like Bristol Dirt and stuff were.
Well, Eldora's not gonna be in the game.
But
Eldora, they don't go to.
yeah, that's right. They don't go there.
It's Knoxville. It's
well,
Knoxville
then I'm right.
Bristol.
Eldora's not going to be in the game. Like, come on. Oh, I gotta
Bristol,
tweet that. That would
yeah,
be,
because people are gonna be like,
dude.
"Oh, that's a good."
Yeah. Hold on, keep on going. So, anyways, let's move on.
It's gonna be Knoxville and Bristol Dirt.
Gary, I got 3 tracks that you can name that are not gonna be in the game that you can pop off, dude.
Okay,
you can say the Chicago, Kentucky, and Eldora are not going to be in the game.
They're gonna like prove us wrong.
I think no. I think you just should say Eldora because that's just gonna be so funny.
I got this. Hold on. I got breaking NASCAR 21 info.
Oh, you monster!
Eldora is not going to be present in the game.
Oh Jesus!
I'm just waiting until like I get some DM from a NASCAR Heat person, be like, "What are you doing?" Okay, so I got breaking NASCAR 21 info. Eldora is not gonna. Oh, I need to do I need to put some spaces in between. There we go. All right, it's out.
Oh God, let me see that.
Oh, that's gonna be hilarious if it actually is in the game for some reason, though. That's funny.
You just broke you just broke the NASCAR game.
Everyone's gonna be like, "What the heck is going on? Why is this not happening?" It's like, well, the
It's
NASCAR don't go
schedule.
there. That's great. I hope that tweet pops off too. We'll see what happens. Back on track.
I mean, is there anything really to talk about? Is there anything else to talk about?
No, I think we just transition to actual NASCAR now.
All right. Let me before we move on. Motorsports Games release a damn trailer.
Yeah.
Like now.
Should we talk about the silly season stuff first because it happened before the race, or should we just wait?
Do you? I don't really care.
We'll get it out of the way now then. So before we talk about New Hampshire earlier this week, and yesterday,
seemingly every day after our podcast.
Yeah, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Tomorrow something.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be something huge tomorrow for sure.
So yeah, I woke up. It was. Did we do it Tuesday or Wednesday? It had been Wednesday last week, right? Yeah, because I was off the next day, and it would have been Thursday. So I woke up Thursday. I open up my phone, open up Twitter, and it's just this boom, like Harrison Burton 21, Car Austin Cindric in the 2. I'm like, okay.
Eddie D did.
Good morning, NASCAR world. So Matt DiBenedetto's out, which there was an interesting little bit from Roger Penske that I'll mention.
Yeah.
DiBenedetto is gone. He needs a ride. Harrison Burton comes in. There was a couple interesting things I found from this. One of the big ones was reason DiBenedetto lost his ride is they want a winner. I'm like, why are you putting an
I've said that,
Xfinity guy that can't win this year in that car then?
but you want to know something? He has more NASCAR wins than Matty D's whole career.
He does. It's unfortunate.
I mean, you can say, I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, a lot of his career he didn't have the ride, but facts are facts.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and the fact is I'm still a firm believer that he's underperforming in that car.
Let's ask Jay, not his thought about the performing. Did
Okay,
you
good.
see?
Because I was ooh.
Did you see this
Ooh, I
coming,
was hurting.
Jay?
Yes and no. I would say I mean, obviously from last year when it got announced that Cindric would be going to the 21 up until probably the Keselowski rumor started this year, I was fully expecting the Benedetto to be out of the 21. And then the whole Keselowski thing started happening, and so your immediate thought was, okay, at first maybe De Benedetto goes to the 2 and then Cindric to the 21, and then it got really changed to, okay, Cindric's going to go to the 2 and Dibby would stay in the 21, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere Harrison Burton is rumored to be going to that car. So it kind of got me caught off guard, but at the same time it was something I came into the year expecting, so I'm not really taken back by it or surprised by it or hurt by it or whatever. It was something I was already expecting anyways, and there was just that glimmer of hope that, okay, yeah, maybe, cool, now we can stay in the 21. But something that I was already expecting is happening anyways, so I'm not that affected by it, considering I already kind of knew what was going to happen.
So yeah, I don't think, to me it wasn't a surprise. Just by the way it was sounding, it was something that was coming. But Matt, Harrison Burton going in the car, what are your expectations as well? Of course, we don't know with the next gen car. That team could fall off a cliff. They could get really good. We don't know. But like, what would you expect from Harrison in that car?
I don't know. Like, it's such a weird thing because, like, 2020, Harrison was pretty damn good, and then he's kind of fallen off this year, and you're just really confused about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he won 4 times last year, and he won like 2 of the last like 3 races, and you're honestly kind of expecting him to be really good this year. Like, he's not been horrible, but he hasn't won, and it's just really weird. But like I said last week when the rumor was popping, it makes a lot of sense for Harrison to do this, to get out of Toyota, because he's the odd man out already.
And we all collectively thought it was going to be Harrison.
Yeah.
So we were
Based
right on
on
that.
the info. Door bumper clear was right. And spoiler alert, shockingly, door bumper clear didn't say anything this week.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how he does. I'm sure he's gonna be bringing some sponsorship with him too. He's got that luxury with like Dex, so he might have that with him. But yeah, that was only one piece of the news as well. Actually, before we move on from DiBenedetto, Roger Penske was saying that I guess they made it pretty clear that he had 1 year, which was this year, to like build his resume, and then they were moving on. Like they were not taking him back whatsoever.
Like, basically, he was saying you never had a shot, and
Yeah.
you got your hopes up.
And the
and
way
you played
Matt
yourself,
talked about it was like he had no idea this was happening.
which
So
is
it's interesting.
I think I'm tend to believe Roger Penske.
Yeah. I mean, you feel bad for Matt though. At the same time, he's had so many opportunities, but at the same time, I like to pull for him and hope he does well. And I just want to see him get one shot in a top car, but obviously, when he has a season like this in the car, it doesn't help his case.
To be fair, they got rid of the crew chief. So Greg Gerwig.
Oh my god, that interview, that thing you posted on Twitter. Oh my god, that shit was so funny.
What got posted on Twitter?
The thing. Did you see Matty D's 10-minute interview?
No, I didn't
That he
watch
did of
anything he said.
himself. Okay,
No.
literally, it was just a 10-minute video. He never said his name, but it was you knew what he was talking about. It was
He
literally just a 10-minute video trashing Greg Irwin.
He was roasting Irwin. Yeah.
It was a
Really?
10-minute video just saying Greg Irwin sucks.
Yeah, because all he could basically say was, "We got the new crew chief, and the team's finally clicking, and we've struggled all year long and have not had things go right and all this stuff." He didn't name Greg Irwin at all, but you could tell what
You
he was
knew.
talking about.
You knew.
And you can see it in the performance too. Once they got the new crew chief, all of a sudden now they're able to run top 10, and they actually had a decent strategy on Sunday that just didn't play out. So
Oh, I'm
you
really
know, I'm
about to
just
get
way too little, way too late. But I'm just saying, you know, all of a sudden now he's starting to perform kind of like we expect. So,
But I mean, it sounds like Roger Penske didn't really care how he did. So
Yeah, just what he said is like he was no matter what, he's gone.
yeah, it sounded like he was done. So unless he won like 3 races or something, but
there's still the whole point that even so, Dibby was not able to negotiate with other teams until last week.
that was
really,
bizarre.
Yeah,
He's like
and that's probably why he thought that he was going to return to that car next season. Because I'm sure there was internal talks of him returning to that car because Cindric was obviously the obvious choice to go to the 2, and then comes out of nowhere, all of a sudden he's out.
Yeah.
And it takes until half the season's over half the season, and boom, you know, it's all of a sudden he's got to look for a ride.
And I'm gonna be frank, and Steve Letarte was like frank. Yeah, like, I don't know if you saw what Steve Letarte said. He was like,
"Oh, I saw his, yeah."
And that's honestly like kind of how I feel. And to be frank, I think there's really only one option for him. Looking at how everything's playing out right now, and that's if Anthony Alfredo gets fired from the 38, or go down to Xfinity or trucks.
I didn't see what Steve Letarte said, but I guess I can look it up later.
He said you didn't win.
Pretty
It's
much,
basically
yeah,
simple as that.
yeah. It's pretty
You
much what
didn't
he said.
win. And
Penske's
here's
Penske's talked about it before. He likes people winning, and he'll resign you if you win. So I mean,
yeah.
And
Penske runs his business. You win for him, you get to stay with him.
Man's a billionaire for a reason. But along with the whole Penske thing was not only the Wood Brothers car, but obviously they finally announced, of course, Keselowski was leaving the 2. Austin Cindric will be driving the 2 car next season. We all knew that was going to happen once we saw the Brad rumors of leaving in general. So that was no surprise whatsoever. So Cindric, the last year's champion of Xfinity, could be another champion this year if he keeps up what he's doing.
I would assume it's it'd be really hard to bet against him at this point.
And yeah, so I mean, I'm interested to see how he's gonna do, because he's been interesting to watch because he came in just as a road racer, pretty much.
He's done some oval races this year.
Yeah, but like his strength was, like he's a road guy, and he's really transformed into being competitive on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously how he wins an Xfinity Series championship. So it's been cool to see that. I think he's a cool dude. Definitely like not my favorite, but I like Cindric quite a bit. So I think it's obviously it was the number one choice to put in that 2 car in my opinion. So not much to say about that one. I don't think. Obviously, we all knew that was coming. So
yeah. So I mean, it's about the. I mean, it's gonna be the same thing we're gonna say about
Keselowski and Roush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday, they announced Keselowski to be a co-owner of Roush. I don't know. I don't think they're changing the name. I think it's still going to stick as Roush.
No, Bob. There is a article saying yes, they're changing their name.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah. So, but no real details other than Keselowski being added to team name in some way.
Either way, they said obviously he's going to have a big role, and then when he's done driving, he's going to have an even larger role within the team. Who knows how far that is out. He's 37 now. I just saw it today because he's going to become an owner at the same time Tony Stewart did. Actually.
Yeah, and their stats are pretty
very similar, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, cool for Brad. Obviously, I don't think that team will be a winning team in the first year, but they could sneak out
Next
maybe a
gen,
plate win. That is next gen.
next
That's the thing.
gen.
Who knows? Like they could come out as
Yeah,
a top team, but we'll have to wait and see. So, I mean, yeah, it's cool for Brad. I think it's a good move from Russ Fenway. And yeah,
yeah. I mean, like I said, you can't go wrong signing a Hall of Famer.
yeah. I mean, heck, all you got to do is win like 10 races in the Cup Series. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer because they
Do you
put so
think? Do you
many
think?
people in.
I mean, they've now slowed down tremendously though. It's
Yeah.
only 3 a year now, so.
Um, but yeah,
And I mean,
that's
like, all right. Do you think? I mean, at the pace they were going, Jamie Murray was going to end up in the Hall
oh,
of Fame for the love of
100%.
God.
Dude won like 7 races.
I mean, the lone fact that he's got a 500 win, he probably will actually end up in there one day, but um, that's besides the point.
Yep. I guess that was all the silly season news. I think.
Yeah, Bob. Other than Bob saying like the main free agents are Ross, Kurt,
Yep.
Matty D,
And
Newman out, Newman apparently out, 99% out, because they made a statement like maybe he does Ross part time and stuff, but as this is what I think about the Newman situation. He does part time with Roush or he retires. Pretty simple as that. And then he's like, and Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, and Eric Almirola are also in play for silly season. So,
that'd be
but like
interesting if
other,
Almirola somehow got kicked from that ride after New Hampshire. We'll talk more about that soon.
well, I'll talk. I'll save it for that too. So
I have some strong opinions on what happened.
I know you do.
Yeah, cool for Almirola, by the way, but yeah, I got a strong opinion about that. I'll talk about. But honestly, do we move into the race now, or?
Yeah.
So
We have.
yeah, I mean, we can all agree it was a great race. We went out. I go into the weekend. I'm like, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be boring. I'm not gonna enjoy this race. They announced they were not putting the PJ1 down. I didn't give a crap. I said this
Good.
race is still gonna suck. I was proven way wrong. I was very impressed, but
I think this is
yeah,
proves PJ1 sucks.
get rid of it. Actually, I guess they're
I,
considering that now.
they have. I mean, let this be getting sidetracked again, but like I think we do have to talk about PJ1 because the race was great without it, and my personal opinion is that PJ1's too good. We see it everywhere they go. They just run into PJ1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the intended thing for it is an extra groove of racing. No, all it does is move the groove to a different location.
What if they
on the
applied
track.
it in multiple locations?
They apply it to 80 feet of Texas. They don't change shit.
I mean, honestly, if they're
Texas
gonna do it, just
trash.
apply it to the whole entire corner. Let the drivers run wherever they want to run.
Yes, there we go.
But then that defeats the purpose of what they're trying to do.
Well,
What, you want to know what they should have done at Texas? You know, like the top 10 feet all around the rim. That's all they should have done. But here we are. Texas is the worst track in. You're gonna make a case that Texas is the worst track in racing, period, right now.
100%. I would consider
don't know.
one of the worst racetracks on the planet.
Spain exists.
Well, at least cars won't commit Sudoku on the track.
I'd rather watch like 7 Spain GPs than one Texas race.
Yeah. I mean, Texas doesn't need. To be frank, the PJ1 has destroyed the track forever. The only way they can fix Texas is redo it.
I think
At
they
this point.
absolutely have to.
They have to at some point because it's
And
the
they
worst
won't, 'cause
track.
It's way too expensive.
You got roasted by Denny Hamlin. That's how you know you need to do something.
Yeah. Probably.
I don't know.
Let's actually get into.
That's how you know you need to do something, considering Denny roasts anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
If you get roasted by William Byron, then there you go.
I couldn't take a William Byron roast seriously whatsoever.
Exactly.
I mean, how about the Quinn Hoff roast?
Yeah,
That was good.
That was so funny.
That was comical.
Quinn Elf, man, he's a dude.
What a legend.
Popped off.
Yeah.
Looking forward to your announcement on Tuesday.
Dude. All right. So the race goes green, then lap 6 happens.
Well, apparently before that, I was already there. The guys were like, "It's
There
already
was
wet."
misting.
They were like,
It's
the
misting.
track's already getting wet. Like, why are we going green?" But they went green for about 2 minutes. Well, no, about 3 minutes. It was 6 laps. But
Yeah.
and I wasn't full. It was lap 6. I was already not paying much attention.
And then the top 2 are dead.
Yeah, well, I just hear the commentators like, "Oh," and I look up and I'm like, "What the heck just happened?" Like, I was just hard in the wall. And then
Truex
Denny
is dead,
Hamlin goes
Hamlin.
spinning. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And it took me a
It's
second to
raining.
register what was happening. I'm like, oh my god, the track's wet.
Yeah, this big negative. Let's just put it that way. This was
Nice job, NASCAR.
embarrassing.
We saw what they stopped the race at the Daytona road course for. And then they sent this race green on an oval.
But they were talking about using wet tires.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Where's the wet tires at when we need them?
Yeah, that's just comical. But Kyle Busch was so mad he hit the pace car, which that was hilarious. I was like, when he did that, I was like, oh, this interview is gonna be top tier Kyle Busch.
That
and honestly,
yeah.
he honestly for Kyle Busch, he took it really well.
He was pretty chill.
Tame.
Yeah. Speaking of
I
tame,
can't say it or I'll get in trouble.
Did you see that Kyle Busch video today?
Oh, glorious.
That was something, wasn't it?
Something fierce.
I'm just scrolling through my timeline and like Kyle Busch is just twerking on my Twitter, and I'm just like, what is going
Offspring.
That's what I woke up to. I woke up to a tweet from Gary, and I'm like, oh, Gary shared a tweet with me. Let's look at it. And all I saw was Kyle Busch's ass twerking at me. That was a great way to start off my day.
Just like, what is going on?
It was glorious, though.
What other universe have I woken up into?
I love Kyle Busch.
Oh man, dude has a good time off the track.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that made the day right there. That was hilarious. But
yeah, frankly embarrassing by NASCAR. You know what? I think it needs to be said. And just in general, NASCAR officiating has been horrible lately. Like
Daytona
in the last
road
year.
course. There was that pit cycle thing this year with the tire.
Well, another one. If you honestly think about the Roval race in the Xfinity Series last season, was kind of ridiculous. Like, it was funny as hell just to watch everyone like slide off the track because it was literally a monsoon. But looking back at it, like, man, NASCAR really was stupid that night.
Yeah.
To even race that. And yeah, Daytona road course, the Kansas thing with the tire. You can even say Coda was a bit of a disaster with like the Truex wreck and stuff.
There was moments there, yeah.
The Charlotte truck race was completely unexcusable. With the slow car on the track.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
This Pat and this, and it's just like what is going on, right? NASCAR needs to get in gear because like the drivers aren't happy with NASCAR with like their distancing, whatever the hell they're doing, and this isn't helping.
No, I don't have much to say on it. Like, we know they're screwed up, you know.
It's not good, and even at the end of the race, did you hear the reason?
What, for the caution?
The short
to end the race?
No, yeah.
I mean, I assume it was for darkness, but was there something else?
Yes, it was. But you want to know what really set them up for it?
Hmm.
They said the windows they were in like their booth, they were darkly tinted.
Oh, oh dear.
The
Well, and what was
windows.
it? 8 laps or something? It would have had extra.
The race, yeah, it was about eight or
So
nine
like
laps.
we couldn't have added on. Like, was 4 minutes
No, the windows
gonna?
were too tinted.
Darn, well, track's got to fix that. Open them.
That has nothing. That has nothing to do with the track. That has nothing to do with anything. That Chris is like, maybe I should go outside.
No, that'd be way too complicated.
No. Like, literally, just have like, hey, Bobby, can you just run
Yeah.
outside real quick and see how dark it is?
Either way,
That's another question they should have been asking officials around the track, like they do with the
Or
rain.
spotters.
or any driver
Except-
except for Eric Almirola.
Yes.
The dude was saying it was too dark with like 75 laps to go.
So is Matty D, but that's besides the point.
Either way, yeah, I mean that was a lot of weird drama.
Thing is, too, is the official sunset was not until 8:30. The sun is not
8:20.
down at 8:30. Whatever
8:20.
it was, the sun is not down at the actual time. They were still like 20 minutes away from the sunset.
And they
so
only needed 8 laps.
Yeah,
He's
That's
telling me
4
that you
minutes.
can't hang on, for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Sun isn't gonna magically go down in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Almirola actually was, unless someone held him up again, like Austin Dillon. I think he would have
it
still
doesn't
won.
change the outcome. It doesn't change the outcome. But I mean, Ryan Blaney won stage 1. I don't think much happened after that in stage 1, right? That's other than
There
Bubba
wasn't a
and
lot of
Alfredo.
drama except for it was just downright good racing.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, Bubba spun. He actually
Twice.
the only one I remember is he got into Suarez and went around.
Yeah, and then there was and then he's credited with another caution early in the race with Alfredo.
Okay, I don't even remember that.
He didn't spin. Alfredo hit him and like spun or something like that.
Oh, okay. I remember. I remember Alfredo
Yeah,
going
it was
around or
early.
something. But...
Yeah. And then there was the Quinhoff Newman thing.
Newman just straight up dumped him.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we got
See,
the
in my
glorious
opinion,
Quinhoff tweet.
though, is that when you look at that, is that just like showing how bad Newman is that he has to dump a Starcom car to get like through?
I'm not too sure.
Or does that just show that the Starcom car is in the way? I don't know.
I don't know. It was funny.
I mean, you didn't see the other driver have to dump him.
Yeah, Ryan Newman was
bizarre.
like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, bizarre to say the least.
But yeah, I mean that leads us to the
stage
final
3
stage.
happens.
Yeah. So we
Goes green
knew
all the way.
going into the stage, NASCAR's like, yeah, we're probably going to call it early.
Yeah.
So teams at least knew, but we didn't know when. But they said that it was going to be like a 10-lap warning, basically. Like, we're going to call it, and then it'll be 10 laps to go. And we saw a few drivers trying to really, really stretch it and hope that 10-lap to go was going to come quick.
Yeah.
The longest one was, De Benedetto?
Yep.
Didn't work. Gotta credit them. They're in a must-win situation, so I mean, there's no point in trying to points race.
And even in doing it, they took a 2-tire stop and still rebounded to get a top 10, and were like a few spots off where they were. Was it 11th? Okay, well, still, they were only a couple
better
spots
than what
off
they've
where
been
they
doing
were originally.
Yeah.
But Almirola was just hauling the mail. He was battling it out with Keselowski
the long run,
and
man.
whatnot, and
that long run.
The beginning of stage 3 was great with Keselowski and Blaney going at it.
Yep.
And like Keselowski was moving Blaney around, giving him the bumper. Harvick got up there in the mix. He led a little bit there in stage 2.
And then all of a sudden Almirola's long run's kicking in, and you're just like, is this really happening?
Yeah, and my fears grew higher and higher, lap by lap. I'm like, he's gonna win this race.
Mm-hmm.
We got a guy that's run 25th all year long that's gonna come win. Straight up win too, like he just downright beat everybody. It's not like a McDowell type win.
It's definitely a weird thing, because going into, I wasn't surprised he ran well, because Stewart-Haas seems to have their 750 stuff in check. I
And
think
Fords are generally good at New Hampshire as well.
yes, and it wasn't surprising he ran well. I picked him in fantasy because I'm like, I think he can have a good run here, and he has had good runs here before. But yeah, him winning, having the best car at the end of the race is playoff implosion.
So, for Eric Almirola, I'm happy for you. Think it was cool that you won. I'm not a huge fan of you. I'll be honest. Almirola is in like my bottom 10, but I think it's cool for him. I'm happy for him, but I am so annoyed with the actual win because a guy now 23rd in points, not 27th anymore, but 23rd in
Whip
points, does a Cole Custer from Kentucky last year, comes out of nowhere, wins a race, and then takes
Austin Dillon's
someone's
out.
playoff spot away that's trying to get there the right way of actually being consistent together, not just getting one win and then, running 25th.
But that's what NASCAR wants.
It is what NASCAR wants, but it shouldn't be. But I mean, it obviously adds to the intensity because now we got like a 5-point race instead of a 100-point race.
Yeah, between the RCR boys.
Yes, I mean, it's going to be interesting now. I mean, at least it made it more interesting for the cutoff. But what if we have another new winner?
That's a world where Harvick isn't in playoffs.
Daytona is the best bet for that.
It sucks that we've had 2 winners this year, 2 underdog winners that you don't expect to win, and you can't really, or you don't really feel like celebrating either one of those wins because you know what it does to the playoff picture, and you're just like, ugh.
There's
All
guys
this
that
win
deserve to
does
be
is lock
there.
them into the playoffs
Yeah.
when they don't deserve to be, or at least haven't shown yet that they deserve to be. Michael McDowell would not be inside the playoffs right now if it weren't for his win. Same thing with Almirola, or not? Yeah, Almirola would be way out.
Mm-hmm.
Have no
He
shot.
would be like 200. He's like 200 points out.
So I mean, it's just hard to be happy for a win like that because you know what it does to the overall big picture of the playoffs and stuff, and you're just like, well, we have 2 winners now that are going to be first round exits when we could have had Austin Dillon in the playoffs, who probably would have put up a fight and got himself.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think Almirola goes out in the first round.
I think he can go to round of 12.
He can if they get the performance up and carry this over for more than just one race.
Jay, the first 3 races in the first round of the playoff, all 750 races. He's gonna make the round 12.
For the sake of my insanity, I hope he has mid-20s runs each race and gets eliminated just because I hate the situation that how he got in so much.
But here's the thing. We know that Stewart-Haas is really good at 750. Like, they're tremendously better than their 550 package. Like, all of Almirola's top 10s are on 750 tracks.
What's the round of 12?
Round of 12?
Yeah.
The scary thing is you can make the round of 8 because guess what? Talladega's there.
Well, yeah, I thought about that too. It's like that's a hit or miss for him. He's had his fair share of incidents too. But what else?
Yeah.
What else is in that round?
Vegas, he's screwed.
Okay.
And then the Roval, he's
See, I was gonna say you throw a road course into it, write him off.
Yeah, but there's Talladega, so
that's his shot. I think, and like I said, I think he will make the round of 12. I don't think unless something happens in Talladega that really helps him where he wins, I think he's out.
Yeah, I agree. But the thing is I fully expect him to make round of 12.
Yeah. Doesn't deserve to be there whatsoever, but I think he's gonna pull at least one round out. So cool for him. Yeah, I mean, like I said, what Jay was saying with the underdog winners, I used to love underdog winners. Now I despise them because it's just like you just ruined the playoff grid.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's no fault of the driver, but
all right.
Imagine if we had this playoff system of winning your end in 2011 when Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500.
But he wasn't full season.
Yeah, that's.
But
true,
like,
but
what
still,
if basically though?
Yeah. Oh, you want a what if? You want a what if? Because I saw this on Reddit. What if Suarez won Bristol Dirt?
I would love it. Playoff. I love this format, man. It's great.
Technically, if it's not for those mechanical issues that he's had a couple of the road courses this year, he's probably close to the cutoff line right now.
Well, no, we'd be out quite a bit because of Kurt.
He's out by 200 right now, and he wouldn't be close.
True.
But before the issues, we were only about 50.
Yeah,
and before the Kurt win. Yeah.
Yeah. But like if Suarez won, that means Harvick would be the cutoff guy. Of course, Joey wouldn't have a win at this point, but he's much higher in points than Harvick, which is just like, man, if Suarez won, everything would be a disaster. But
Still got 4 races left, and 2 of them being road courses, and 1 of them being Daytona. So I mean,
well, I have a
truly anything
sneaking,
can happen.
unless something crazy happens, I have a sneaking suspicion who's going to win the next 2 races.
What's the next 2?
Well,
Oh,
okay,
right,
okay,
yeah, both
Watkins
road
Glen is
courses,
one
yeah.
of them. So I mean, yeah, you
And
whoever makes
Indy
Daytona's
road
good for
course.
that.
One of them's a guaranteed
I-
Elliott dub.
Yeah, Watkins Glen I think is probably definitely Chase Elliott, but Indy Road Course never been to, so.
Yeah. I'll be right back in 1 second.
Okay, but yeah, no, yeah, I mean, road courses, Watkins Glen's Elliott, but the Brickyard could open up something because none of these guys have raced there before. So
I'm not
I
mistaken
don't
in
know.
the fact that last year's cutoff race was also Daytona, right?
Yeah, it was.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Great race, by the way. Heartbreaking. Last year I didn't really know who to root for. Obviously, like Hamlin was up there because I mean I'd always liked him, but I was just like I don't know who to cheer for. I was like, you know what, Jimmy's in his last year. I'll cheer for him. It was so heartbreaking watching that race there where he got wrecked out.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's like the 7-time champion in his final year is right on that cutoff to either get in or miss out, and then he just gets wiped out with like 2 laps to go or something like
I
that.
completely forgot.
Maybe he
about
should have
that.
wrecked himself 5 times last season. Maybe I would have felt bad.
It didn't matter. I mean, it didn't change the effect of
I didn't
Daytona
care.
was heartbreaking.
I didn't feel bad at all.
I did. As a person
What-
who
what-
despised Jimmy Johnson for years, and then I woke up and realized how good of a human being he is, I was just like, man, he deserved to at least go out in a positive
No.
light. But
I'm gonna be honest. I don't
Maybe
even know why I disliked him. Cause
I don't know
the only
either.
thing
I look back. It's like the dude's
the
one
only
of the
thing that I can
greatest
think
humans
of-
out there.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is at that time my dad influenced me to not like him, and so I was just like, okay, I'll dislike Jimmy Johnson because my dad dislikes him, and then I realized how good of a driver he is and how good of a dude he is, and that's when I started liking him.
But my thing is, I didn't feel bad at him missing the playoffs. One, it would have been probably a wasted spot. 2, he wrecked himself like 5 times that season. Why should I really feel bad that he kept wrecking himself on his
I'm
own?
more like feel bad
To
for the
be fair,
human,
if you-
the person.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, if you're able to point your way, if you point your way into the playoffs, that's not a that's not necessarily a wasted spot in my opinion.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Yeah, he was there to point his way in.
I get it. I also get annoyed when people say, "Oh, COVID is the reason he didn't make it." That is-
Technically,
Well, the Charlotte
yes.
inspection as well. If you add a Charlotte second place finish, obviously we don't know what's going to happen in Indy. He could have crashed there too. But I mean, taking the if they didn't cheat in Charlotte and he still finished second, that's all he needed right there to get in. So it was an unfortunate last year for Jimmy Johnson. I mean, unfortunate last 3 years for Jimmy Johnson. It was sad watching a downfall like that. I hate seeing really good people just go through that. Pretty much, like as a Sebastian Vettel fan, seeing him go through what he did last year is just like heartbreaking because he didn't deserve to be dealing with that for a year. But moving on from that, Jimmy Johnson, IndyCar driver now. But yeah, I mean, we already talked about the Almirola stuff.
Yeah, and then now the cutoff is Austin Dillon, Reddick. Reddick up by 5.
Yes.
And we're going to 2 road courses where Reddick has been very, very good at road
Christopher
courses.
Bell didn't have that win. He would be out right now by over 50.
He would be out
By
60,
quite a large
59.
Yep. That's a large margin. Arguably another wasted spot. Oh no, actually he's 15th in the
I don't know if
points.
I
Never
agree with
mind.
that one.
No, okay. If you're in the top 16 in points, you're good, and he's 15th. So
Yeah.
I don't think I agree with that one being a
Well,
wasted
I
spot.
mean, but those Bell fans are gonna say Eric Jones was the problem.
There's always a JGR car that's not good. It's been
Yep.
proven time and time again. You take Joey Logano's garbage. He's now a champion that wins a lot of races. Well, not he's winning 1 or 2 per year now, but then you take. Obviously, we don't know what Jones fully yet, but he's proven he can win in that car, and I think he can win a lot of races. I think Christopher Bell can win a lot of races, but I think Christopher Bell is going to fall victim to the same issue. I don't think it's the driver problem.
It's not.
The car problem. Suarez had the same issue.
Yeah, that 20 team is.
I think it's more. Thing is, here's the thing with. I think it's even worse this year with Bell because like every single member on that team got changed, and you also have a 2-time Cup champion crew chief, and the results are basically the same.
I wonder if Adam Stevens regrets leaving Kyle.
It's his problem now because
Yeah.
Kyle ain't never gonna take him back for what he did.
I wouldn't blame him either. But yeah,
I mean, Kyle's been exceptional lately, so.
But we're looking at the points. Hamlin is at 13 points ahead of Kyle Larson.
He is still surviving in the lead.
He's still consistent enough. He's just like he's not the guy we're watching every week, but it's like he's a quiet consistent. Where he reminds me of like a Kurt Busch all of a sudden, where he's just he's really quiet, you're not paying a whole lot of attention to him, but he's still cracking out those good finishes.
It's a lot of Kenseth in the season right now.
And I'm saying like that dude can sneak his way to the Final Four and steal a championship. That's all I'm saying. All he needs to win is one race to win a championship.
He's got.
You don't need to win a race.
Lose that top spot.
I mean, you don't need to win a race if other guys have trouble.
Yeah, no, he's got to be keeping Larson back for it. Well, you want to know something about this Larson thing? I mean, hey, Hendrick, where'd you go?
I know that they've now been winless for 2 weeks.
Wait, I thought the season was over.
This is the longest Hendrick winless streak since the beginning of May, which was 3 races.
The last race they won was Road America. We all expected Chase Elliott to win.
Yep.
Right. I mean, yeah, they were good at poke and all. But like Atlanta, they were like I'm not saying they're bad. Like they're still running good, but like they haven't had winning speed.
I mean, they'll click off a win in Watkins Glen, but
yeah, I mean, they're gonna win the next 2 weeks just because Chase Elliott exists.
I think Kyle Larson could be in the mix with the Glen.
You want to? True, but like the funny thing is, like Chase Elliott could get 5 wins this season, all at road courses. I'll still say he's the worst Hendrick car this year.
Yeah, because I'm not basing what you did all off of road racing.
Yeah. I mean, look at Chase Elliott. He had to go to a entire different sports league to win it on the oval this year.
Yeah. Damn, oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. Oh, I gotta tweet that. Hold on.
You're welcome.
That is gold.
Have to say that.
I'm gonna make so many upset. Continue. Let's see here.
But yeah, that's kind of. Jonathan, I'm not necessarily a Chase hater. It's just funny to mess with the fans getting salty.
Yeah, I tweeted it. So I guess we'll move on though. So yeah, we have an Olympic break for 2 weeks. No NASCAR. Actually, I'm kind of looking forward to having a nice kind of getaway. But yeah, it'll be a nice little break, and then we have that just hard push to the end of the regular season, and then right through the playoffs. So.
One thing I do want to talk about the Cup race real quick. How did you feel about Dale Jr. being lead commentary?
Oh, I'm passionate about this, actually. I think Dale did a good job, but I
Rough around the
think
edges.
people that are like, I saw people like, oh, this is so much better than Rick Allen. You are delusional as crap. Dude was not better than Rick Allen. Okay, not even close. I think Dale did a tremendous job for the way he is, but not a chance he was better than Rick Allen. I hate to break it to you guys, but I mean that's just my opinion. Of course, I mean I'm sure people would disagree. I would like, yeah, I mean your guys' thoughts on that too.
Uh,
Start with Matt.
I I thought it was really good. He was really good. You could definitely tell rough around the edges for sure. You could just tell the nerves were definitely there, being the lead guy. Um, was he? It felt a lot more genuine than Rick Allen because like sometimes you can just tell Rick Allen is just over the top, right?
Yep.
Um, if Dale Jr. would become better than Rick Allen. I think
I think
that
yeah, if he stuck with it, he could.
I
Because for
think
his
he
first
would.
time, he did great.
No, it technically wasn't his first. He did a lead for Saturday as well.
Well, but like
First couple of times.
when the main stage, you know, the first time. I mean, I think he did great, but I mean,
and I mean, I think Junior's is great to have in NASCAR. I love Junior.
Yeah, I don't.
Just like as the personality, you know. Especially after his career, like I wasn't like a Junior fan, like a big Junior fan, but like his after career, Junior's great.
Yeah,
what
I
did you,
kind of
yeah, what did you
I kind
think?
of agree the same as Karma. He was certainly rough around the edges, and that was kind of where I missed Rick Allen, with just like the smoothness and stuff he does leading the race with all the kind of promos and like actual bringing up the storylines and all that kind of stuff you have to go through. But the part where I liked him more than Rick Allen was the genuine excitement and everything he was talking about, and like having Junior talk more and be the lead commentator to give his insight on things and bring up topics, and then have him get excited over stuff happening on the track and be the one to do it as the lead announcer. I think that's where he was better than Rick Allen, just because everything was so genuine and he was so just immersed into it, and did a really good job with commentating the race and making everything exciting happening sound exciting through his voice. Because I'll agree with Karma. Rick, he kind of overdoes it and oversells it a bit.
Yeah. Could you imagine Rick Allen doing the All Star race this season with Brad trying to chase Larson, fully knowing nothing was actually going to happen? Just how Rick Allen was going to handle that? Could you just imagine?
I don't know. I kind of like when they do it like that, though. It's just like, oh,
But but
okay, like
but you
there's
know,
something's going on
but here's
instead
the
of
thing.
like they're going
But here's the
around.
thing, but nothing's going to happen. You know he's just trying to sell you
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
crap.
But at least them, although it's fake, them portraying it, at least it keeps my interest a little bit more
Yeah,
there. Um, but is there anything else from NASCAR to go on
I don't
about?
think so. I don't think
I'm
so.
sure tomorrow we're gonna wake up and there's gonna be a massive like silly season news drop. Yeah, we'll.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
don't
silly
they know
season,
that we record a podcast on Wednesdays and need to
yeah,
like release
yeah.
everything earlier than Thursday?
Well, it would probably help if Gary would upload them
Hey,
earlier.
hey, you know what? I'm gonna put this one up on Thursday. I mean,
Wow, you should do that every week. Uh, sorry, I had to flame you there.
they go on Spotify way earlier, but
Okay, all right. One question though:
okay,
does this win save Eric Almirola's spot if he was ever in danger?
probably.
Yes.
I,
That
I
was
was
that was the other thing that was frustrating.
I'm conflicted because Casey Kane was in the same situation in 2017. He won; it didn't matter.
I think though Smithfield will
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
I think
is
too.
gonna be the
That's the
game
big
changer.
difference factor.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's
Now he's
safe.
had the win and put himself in the playoffs with also a sponsor backing him up. Yeah. And that's another thing that kind of frustrates me about the win too, is because if there was any possibility of him leaving that car, there was maybe a 10% chance that Matty D goes there, and now that's probably
Not
gone in my
no.
opinion. So
I'm gonna be harsh, Jay. I think it was 0.
I don't really care what you think. If there was any possibility, I think it's gone now that he's won. So I mean, it doesn't really matter what our opinions are on it. I think it's gone now, anyways. I think Eric will be back in that car.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because I've been wanting to see him out of that car all year long. Well, more than this year actually, but and then that win, like in my opinion, it just saved him because, like you said, he's gonna make it to the round of 12 very likely.
Yeah,
So
just
it's
because of
like,
how the schedules.
yeah. So
and all that.
I think he saved his future right there with that win. In my like, if it's up to me, I would. I mean, that win's not gonna change. Like, I wouldn't keep him. But obviously, when it comes to the business side of things, I think it's gonna be the game changer right there. So
And also another thing I guess we can talk about real quick is Bob Pockris has said many times now that Ross Chastain is top guy at Trackhouse.
lovely.
How do you feel about that, Gary?
Um, no comment. I'm
Internally
excited.
streaming.
I am excited
Internally.
to passionately cheer on half the team with the Suarez one, and then cheer on hopefully Chastain's car on the wall multiple times. So it's like I'm gonna be cheering in a good way and cheering in a bad way for Trackhouse because oh, there was some 3 wide restarts Chastain did in New Hampshire that was just like, oh my god,
Every
give me a break.
single restart, he sent it.
Like, just have
3
some
wide.
I get being aggressive, but have some just common courtesy. Like, anyway, moving on from Chastain, I ain't gonna get involved with him.
Common courtesy, Lamal. Talking
Yeah,
about
he
common
doesn't know what that
courtesy.
is.
Well, oh boy. Oh boy. It's F1 time.
Ooh, where were they
Oh,
racing by chance?
Silverstone
Lewis Hamilton's home
in
track.
the UK. Oh boy.
I timed my break perfectly to go up and watch the start of the race, settle in, and getting all hyped up, and then it felt
All right.
perfect.
Before we get
Oh,
into it,
okay. Sprint race.
sprint race. Um,
The
It
it
wasn't a
fact,
happened.
race. It was just a sprint.
yeah,
Their FIA was very adamant about that it can't be a race.
Not a
It's
race.
weird.
the fact that
It's not.
they give the actual pole to the sprint winner, no, not
Then
right.
what was the point? But what's the point of doing the sprint?
Set the starting order for
You
the
set the
race.
grid, but yeah, I think the pole should still be considered who gets it in qualifying.
I agree with Vettel and Rosberg. They were very vocal about
Mhm.
it, saying that it just not right. Add a
I mean,
new column for sprint winners.
yeah, I agree. It is what, but that's how the FAA wants it.
So, and
It was okay. I mean,
yeah,
it was
didn't
after lap
wow
4.
us.
After lap 4,
That's any F1 race,
Yeah.
though, honestly.
Perez had
Well.
a spin. I don't know, but I feel like the whole, like, obviously with the way Silverstone was, there was just, it felt like the whole time there was drama because now we're watching Hamilton try to complete this comeback and stuff, which we're going to talk about more of why he was trying to complete a
Oh
comeback.
boy.
But yeah, I mean, overall the sprint thing,
Oh,
it's just like, yes, whatever. Like, I'm not. I'm right on where I was actually before going into it. Like, I don't really care about it if we have it or not.
yeah.
But Vettel, he
Yeah,
had an
I
interesting weekend.
truthfully would. I think it's a cool thing to try for a couple races a year, but hopefully
I think
they don't bring it back. Honestly,
there's definitely some tracks that it would work really well at, and then there's a track like Monaco where they should never do it at.
yeah,
Oh God,
tracks
Monaco would be terrible.
that are high in passing,
Yeah,
do it. But
and that's why they're gonna do it at Monza.
That's
But
a good one.
the thing is,
That can work.
But
I
here's
think
the problem.
Monza and Austria are like number 1 and 2 that it should happen at.
And then the rumored third one is Brazil.
That
Brazil
could
would be
go
another
either
good
way.
one, too.
Yeah. But it's time for the race.
Well, hold up. Just one quick tidbit. I'm very curious to see if Codemasters will find a way to implement this with a patch or something at some point this year, or wait till next game.
I think the only way they do it is if F1 actually makes it a thing that happens next year.
Okay.
for it just being a 3-race experiment, I don't think Codemasters would.
Oh yeah, they're only doing it 3
But
this year, right? Because they
yeah,
want to do
they've.
6.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't know
No,
that.
yeah, they
yeah,
said they
I
want to
heard,
do
I heard
6 next
this.
year.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I knew they're only doing it 3 this year, and Codemasters already got enough stuff. A, with getting updates out for this game, and B, getting those tracks all made. Those 3 new
Those better
tracks
come quick.
made.
I want them so
Yeah,
bad.
I hope they come quick, but there's a lot that goes into
We
those
can
tracks.
talk about the game later.
Yeah. Off podcast, we had our
Alright.
talk about the game. So
Well, oh well. This is race time, and then
there
boy.
was hype, man, because Verstappen, Hamilton, front row. I'm like, this is gonna get good,
And it
and
was.
because they went at each
First-
other in the sprint race.
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
sprint race, I texted Gary as it was happening, and I was like, "This is fucking
Yeah,
amazing."
it was great.
They
I
were
was like,
going at it.
man, like Hamilton, in my opinion, he had to get him on lap 1,
Yeah,
and
we
that
knew
was his only
from
shot.
the sprint race. The sprint race, we knew Hamilton was going to be faster in the straights at the start of the race.
Yep.
We knew that, and it happened.
Every straight, Verstappen was attacked, and
then we got the corpse.
So-
Cops, whatever it is.
cops. It's hard to say it how they do, because when we say it, it just sounds like cops, like the police. But like they say it's like cops or something. I don't know, but
Whoops.
they say it way cooler than we do. But so basically, this corner is a right bend where you're pretty much pinned. Although I drove there tonight on F1 2020, I had to let off in the Haas, but that's a Haas. But you're
No,
going.
You have to let off in F1 now.
Okay, well you're going
Yeah.
No matter
180.
what car.
You're going 180 through this corner.
You're moving.
Yeah. I don't know if they
It's one of
lift
the
in real life
fastest
there though.
corners on the circuit.
I feel like they still have them pinned in real life there.
In the Mercedes and Red Bull, probably
Yes,
you can
yes.
probably full throttle it through there.
So throughout my lifetime of being an F1 fan, which is like 5-6 years of being a legitimate fan now, my understanding is you don't stick a nose inside
you
to that
do
corner.
Not race in that corner.
And
And I don't
anytime
think I've ever seen it
someone,
happen before either.
rare
I-
cases
we-
it's
we've
happened,
seen
but
it.
someone goes off track.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you can make it work, but it's unbelievably unlikely. But so like
the only way you can make it work is if one lets off, like we had
Yeah.
later in the race. But
Leclerc backed out when Hamilton did it to him. So
Well, Leclerc was like, "I choose to live."
yeah, Leclerc
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
showed Hamilton
Leclerc
what he
had
was
the
supposed to do.
Leclerc had the upper hand still in that corner as well, but he decided to.
Well,
let
he
it.
saw what he
So
did to
getting-
Max on lap 1. He was like, "No, thank
Yeah.
you. I do not want to go to the hospital tonight."
We're getting too far ahead of ourselves
yeah.
here. We still got to
So
discuss.
they come out of the carousel, and immediately
Up and
Lewis.
weaving all over the
Yeah,
track.
I mean Max does it. I thought at first he did a solid job. Got defensive, got over to the right side, heading down towards the corner. Lewis finds the little room there is left. I mean, there was enough room to get a car there, obviously.
Yeah.
And he he got almost even with Max, but by the time they actually hit the brakes, Max was well over half a car length ahead. And then Lewis, I mean, obviously, in my opinion, I want everyone's opinion on this, like as deep as you want to go. In my opinion, Max had the right line. He had the apex. He had over half a car width on Hamilton by the time of the apex. That was 100% Max's corner, and it was foolish and the most, in my opinion, desperate move I've seen from Lewis Hamilton in my time watching F1, because he knew he had to complete that pass on the first lap. Otherwise, he was in a really tough spot to be able to beat Max in the race.
He had to do that in that turn. 'Cause
Yes,
he's
you're not
sticking
getting
with
him
to
any
the
other point. After the S's, Max is going to be gone. So,
Yep.
in my opinion, that was his only shot right there. If he didn't get him, Max was gone for the day. So, like I said, I thought it was the most desperate move I've ever seen from Lewis, and obviously it didn't work. He washed up as Max is going for the apex. Overall racing incident, but in my opinion, 100% Lewis's fault, and just uncalled for. But at the same time, that was his only shot, in my opinion. So it's like I see why he did it, but it was, in my opinion, the wrong thing to do. So I'll start with Jay. I want like your full opinion on this.
Well, first I want to start off with it's the actual incident itself is not what I have my biggest issue with. That's obviously an issue, but I think it does actually boil down to a racing thing because Lewis had to go for it. He knew what he had to do, and Max gave him the room. Lewis just wound up washing up and not driving the corner correctly. So I think that it was more so a racing incident, and I don't entirely put Lewis at fault. It's things after that happened that made me really mad at Lewis. But as far as the actual incident itself, I agree with you that that's probably the most desperate move I've seen him make. And obviously the results of that show that it was the most desperate move that he made. And Verstappen, you could see they showed the onboard. He went into the corner not really knowing that Lewis was there or assuming that he was going to back out. And then he saw Lewis. He could see his car kind of peer up over into view, and you saw Max turn to the left some to try and give him room, and then he went back to try and apex the corner. And then right about that time, Lewis makes contact and hits him. So obviously Max left him the room. I mean, you could easily see that there was room for Lewis to be there. He just did not hit the corner right and wound up making contact with Max and sent him into the barriers. And I mean, that corner is just extremely fast and extremely tight for as fast of a corner it is. So trying that move there is going to result in exactly what happened, and Max having no chance to slow himself down, or the gravel having enough chance to slow Max down before he goes plowing into the barriers, and exactly what
51G.
happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the only other one that I've seen around that number was Bottas's. I think it was at Austria a couple years ago, right, where it was like 40 something G's.
I think Grosjean's was higher. They said.
Goes
Oh,
around for
Grosjean was higher. Okay.
67.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
67.
know. I never
Obviously,
seen one of
though,
that. But
his was still different because there was the guardrail and his car kind of penetrated the
Besides the
wall.
point, huge,
But yeah,
huge crash.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that corner is for as fast as it is, it's extremely tight, and it's hard to get two cars through there correctly with both of them going at full speed. And so, I mean, again, Lewis kind of had to try that, but he did it not successfully at all, and it wound up shunting Max, and then things got worse from there.
Matt, what's your opinion?
Basically what you guys have said, and Lewis just straight up missed the corner. I mean, like you guys have pretty much said what I wanted to say. So, but I do want to get into some other things. A part of me, this is an issue that's been growing for me in F1 is it's my corner. I think that is the stupidest line any driver can use. I actually think it's pathetic that you use that line. If a driver says that, no, in the sense, no, it like. Let me finish this. Let me finish.
Okay.
Stuff like Austria saying, like turn 4, like when like Perez, like Lando shut Perez off and Perez shoved Leclerc off. When people say like, "Oh, that was my corner," pathetic, absolutely pathetic that the driver would say that. The car is there. Respect the fact. Actually, raced them. 100% BS.
Can you blame the driver when the F1 or the FIA rules state a certain what is a driver's corner and what isn't? I mean, can you blame them? They're trying to take advantage of the rules that are in place. So,
but then if that's the case, then why are they getting penalized? If it's their corner, I guess the other driver just has to back out, right?
Well, I mean, even today there was a graphic pointed out about the Silverstone corner, which implied whose corner it was, basically at certain points. I think it, I guess, comes down to it depends on the type of corner we're talking about. Because in the Austria ones, yeah, I agree. There was like, it's my corner was a silly argument for a lot of those incidents. But this corner in specific, I think it's one of those like one guy has the corner.
Well,
Well,
yeah, no. And my thing is, Lewis was like, it was my corner. I like, what are you talking about? You're never ahead. You're at best even. And I just hate when the drivers use "it's my corner" because this is like they feel entitlement that the other driver just has to back out. That's not racing. Racing is when you have to battle the guy all the way through. but it's my corner. Just back out because
Yeah, I think the it's my corner argument works for that specific turn at Silverstone.
but
But
90% of the time it's not.
not when Lewis is the one saying it, because obviously he's wrong. But if Max had been saying it, he would have been right. But for a slow corner like Austria, where the specific incident happened between Perez and Lando, yeah, I guess you could argue you can't say that there because it's a slow corner where two different lines can work. Give
Yeah.
them room.
And then
At
there's the
Silverstone, where it's a fast corner where there's only one line that can really work through there and only one car can fit at a time, you have an argument for it's my corner.
yeah, I agree with that. But like it's just like like this incident just like I'm getting sick of hearing this because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Well,
90%
to be
of cases,
fair,
90% of cases. And then late in the race you see the Perez Raikkonen thing and I'm just like what in the hell is happening? Like when Perez just completely just turns in on Raikkonen, even though Raikkonen's completely there the entire time. And you're just like, what was that? What, Perez, you're gonna say that was your corner?
He's reminding me of the struggling drivers that've been in Red Bull the last few weeks.
But it's not about who the driver is. It's like, what, Perez, you're gonna say that was your corner? So you're just gonna do that? And the fact that neither of them got penalties, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's FIA is weird, man. Let's move. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw some interesting comparisons put on Twitter about the penalties and stuff that was received for this incident and to prior things, and it put some really good perspective on it and made it seem like, okay, wow, these rules are interesting, because Sonoda got 10 seconds of penalties for each time that he crossed the pit line at Austria, and that was just crossing the pit line by a couple inches. But Lewis completely destroys a dude and sends him to the hospital, and he gets a
10
10 second
seconds.
penalty.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But they
It's not
also
the
came out and said, yeah, it's not the outcome, basically, of what causes them to give the time or like determine the time penalty or whatever.
It's the action.
To me,
Yeah.
that's kind of dumb.
I think that the outcome should
definitely play a
be
part into it.
considered. Yes.
Be a
Well,
massive part into it.
Now I'm going to get into an even bigger issue. That is this is going to, I don't know if you knew about this, but this is going to piss you guys off even more than you probably already are about this entire incident. And it needs to change in some way. Mercedes said if the red flag didn't come out, they would have had to retire Hamilton
I saw that.
because there was suspension damage. But red flag, you can repair it, no problem. You're back where you exactly were. It's a brand new race. It's all okay. Bullshit.
That one didn't make me angry because I'm like,
No,
yeah,
no,
like it was
me-
already a rule, but like it was still like,
it
what the
needs
heck?
to change.
Yes.
Because it's not just a Hamilton thing. Because we've had these red flags with standing starts. How many times since the Monza race last year? Like 6 of them.
Yeah, I will say, by the way, they keep on doing these red flags. I like them.
Yeah.
But
I like them too.
They need
like,
to change the format during the red flag.
Why should you be able to repair your car?
Yeah, that's
Okay, this is
And being the one that caused it.
Yeah, this is what I think it should be. If you repair your car, you must start last.
Yes.
that was the part
100%.
that in the immediate moment before anything else started happening, that was the part that had me the most mad, because he went from, okay, this wreck happened, we're gonna have the possibility of either retiring the car or spending a lot of time on pit road or on pit lane to fix the car, and now all of a sudden he gets a free red flag to fix everything and just resume from where he was. And I didn't like
It's
that
not
at
a
all.
Lewis thing either. Like this isn't about Lewis.
Yeah. For that specific situation,
An example.
about Lewis,
Yeah.
but as in a whole, it's kind of dumb that anyone in the paddock can do that.
And the funny thing is Hamilton's benefited from it twice this season.
Yeah, he almost went a lap down.
He was a lap down.
He was a lap down and then got to get his lap back previously. So,
it's frustrating because it's like that's not how it should be. You shouldn't get a free pass. You make a big mistake, like Hamilton wrecked himself, but he basically got rewarded. in a sense, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
I
you
get
got
a
a race
free
win and
pass.
chop the championship lead down.
Yeah. And I'm talking about like Imola, where he legitimately wrecked, and he get a free pass because he's like, oh, I can get back to second place free. You're just like, this is not right.
I think if they
It's not right.
plan to do more red flags, I hope they reconsider it during the off season on how their format is going to be with that. I think the more red flags is actually a good thing in an entertainment purpose, and I think they are not going to shy away at all over the next while from doing this. So, but
Well,
they
I
need
also
to
think that
look
this
into
comes down
changing
to
it.
all of a sudden we've had more wrecks that need red flags because of massive damage to the barriers and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I feel
been
like that's
coincidental too, right? So,
yeah.
um, but I still think they're not going to hesitate nowadays to throw that red flag and stuff. Like the
Yeah.
Verstappen one could have just been a normal safety car at Baku.
It could have been, yeah.
So
They could have ended the race under safety car.
yeah,
And,
which they've done before. So Bahrain with Leclerc when he was leading, and then obviously had the engine issue. They ended that under safety car. But we're not going to move on from Lewis yet. I want to as well bring in post race before we really talk about. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about in the race, but so Lewis, how he handled everything.
Can we mention the penalty for a second?
Okay.
The penalty that he got.
Well, let's talk about that in the race
stupid.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to quickly talk about the post race and how Lewis handled everything. First of all, the comments towards Lewis online after the race were disgusting. And when I saw that crash immediately, I was like, people are going to be ripping the poor guy so hard. And it was disgusting to see what some people were saying. But
yeah,
what I was obviously it's his home race. He's going to be very excited to win. But as a person that's gained a lot of respect for Lewis lately, I was disappointed in him on how he handled the post race celebrations and stuff and how he acted, not with the celebrations, but specifically how he talked about the incident with Max as well. I was just disappointed to see how he handled that.
It was that I lost so much respect to Lewis.
I've never really liked Lewis off the track, but on the track, I always respected how good of a driver he was. And he always at least handled himself the right way, or at least in a decent way with all the interviews and anything he's ever done before involved around his racing. But he washed all that away with the way he handled himself as soon as he took the checkered flag on Sunday. Just wow. He handled that so incredibly poorly.
It was, I was in awe of how bad he handled it.
Yeah,
it was literally jaw dropping.
His celebration was so cringe and just like, what are you doing, my dude? Like it literally felt like he was deliberately celebrating to like be in Max's face and be
Get
like,
under their
look at what I
skin,
did.
you know?
Yeah, because that was his 8th win in Britain. It's not like it was his first ever win there, and it's not like that was a championship winning win. It's not like he won the championship with that win.
Could have.
And he celebrated like he's yeah, no, but what I'm saying is it wasn't like confirmed that he wins the championship with that, or it wasn't his first win ever in Britain to Silverstone. It was his 8th win there, and we're still only not even halfway through the season yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he's never celebrated like that before after winning a Silverstone. So like just the way he did it felt deliberately like, hey Max, look at me, screw you. You know, it just felt really, really distasteful. And Max even kind of said that in his post, and I agreed with it. It's like,
what are you doing? You're an asshole.
Yeah.
He
It
never
really
took
just did not sit right
responsibility
with me
either.
at all.
He's
still saying that he had the corner and all this stuff, and never really even said that he hopes Max is okay until way afterwards on a post on social media. So I mean, it's just like,
I think he asked on the radio if he was okay actually after the accident.
Yeah, but he never.
But he didn't take any responsibility for anything.
He said it in his interviews.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's just like he's not even acknowledging the fact that it could have been my fault, like 1%. He doesn't think he did. It was all Max's fault. Max is an over aggressive driver. Fun fact: only 3 drivers on the entire grid have 0 penalty points. One of them is Max Verstappen. You want to know the other 2? Alonso and Schumacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. It's interesting. Alonso has been in F1 for 2 years, and Schumacher's a rookie who runs
It's like,
in the back.
who was the one making the desperate move in the first place? You know.
Yeah, exactly. Verstappen had the lead and also had the inside covered off, but you still went there where there was barely room. There was
He
room, but there
forced
was
it.
barely room. Yeah, like come on, Lewis.
It's just,
Jesus.
yeah. I mean, he didn't take any responsibility. It's just like, man, it rubbed me so wrong.
He still hasn't
Yeah.
done taking any.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure even in his post that he made on social media, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in the post that he made on Twitter and Instagram, he even still mentioned that he felt he made the right move and was not at fault,
I
but then
can
wished Max well.
find it here in a second, but
I could be wrong, but I feel like that was in his statement. I feel like I remember reading that.
Oh my god!
it's just
It's just,
disappointing, you know.
like I can't. I feel like I just can't even like Lewis anymore after this because it was so
He said here.
distasteful.
He says, I send my best wishes to Max, who is an incredible competitor. I'm glad to hear he is okay. I will always race hard, but always fairly. And then says,
So,
my
yeah,
team
that-
showed
that's-
grit
that's
and
what I feel like we
perseverance out
said,
there.
but-
It's a dream to win in front of my home crowd.
And
But
like
yeah.
the whole riding around the track with the Britain flag, I don't think he's ever done that before riding.
No, I
which
think
I
he's
don't- I
done
mean,
that. I think he's done that.
He's
Yeah.
done that.
He's done that. Okay, well, still, it just felt like I don't know. The whole thing felt weird.
It just felt wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't right.
Yes, like you feel that in F1 a lot more often. It's just like this guy just should not. No, this is just not right.
Yeah.
The even though like we all like Perez, his win last season felt so. The gutting feeling for Russell was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like I don't think I've ever felt so gutted after an F1 race, other than that Bahrain outer ring race.
For
I
me,
just
I
felt
was
so
happy
empty.
because I wanted to see Perez remain in F1 because I like Perez.
Yeah, I like Perez too, but like this the Russell thing, just like you just.
Yeah, I mean,
just,
it was so
you
sad.
felt so. Like
Even
the one
him
time we
losing that
actually
point
wanted
in
Mercedes
Spain or
to
whatever.
win. The one time we wanted Mercedes to win, they screw up royally.
Mercedes pit stops, man.
Um,
And
That
honestly,
is their-
and also there's one more thing about Lewis. Like I'm gonna say, he's been really sloppy this season.
who?
Lewis,
Oh, absolutely.
overall,
he's made the most mistakes he's made before, and I think it's genuinely because of the pressure that Red Bull's put on.
Maybe a mix as well of like not fully comfortable with the way the car is this year, right? But
it's something.
Could be.
yeah,
I
I mean,
just-
Red
I
Bull's
just-
putting on more pressure than they ever have in this era. So
And it's just, I honestly don't like even talking about it because I just feel so distasteful towards the entire thing.
yeah.
And all I'm gonna say is gonna be very interesting how Max takes.
I
all
think this changes everything between them.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
it goes
the
from a
fact- the
respectful
fact-
rivalry to absolutely heated now, and Max is gonna turn into a bull.
But you know, Max is pissed when the first thing he did was
Unfollowed him.
unfollow Lewis
I wonder if
on
he's followed him
Instagram.
back. But this is like, in my opinion, this I'd said it already. This was like a thing that had been building up to happen. Like we knew they were gonna have an incident at some point. Like they've had run-ins, but like I was like, one of these times they're gonna have a crash, and it finally
And
happened.
honestly, it did not surprise me that it happened at Silverstone either, because based on the way that they raced each other at the beginning of the sprint, and then the way they raced each other at the beginning of that race, for that
Mhm.
quarter of a lap before Verstappen wrecked, like they were going at it more than they have before. Like
Mhm.
holy crap!
But you got to say the
That
way
was-
they
that was
were
some of the most
racing each
aggressive
other,
driving.
the way they
Oh,
were
yeah,
racing each
yeah.
other is great for F1.
Yes.
Tremendous.
I
That was
loved it.
awesome. Some of the like best showcase of racing I've ever watched. Like F1 just puts on just the most incredible sporting events. It's unbelievable.
When they actually have passing happening and actually have competitiveness for the lead and not just one dominating team, F1 can be extremely exciting, and we saw that this past weekend at Silverstone. I mean, that was, obviously until the unfortunate things happened with Verstappen, like that first quarter of a lap, and then those first couple laps of the sprint where they were still close to each other. That
That-
was fantastic.
That first half the lap leading up to the crash, like is like the most just like it felt like the craziest like sporting moment I had ever watched. Because
Yeah.
like they were just going back and forth, going at each other so hard, and then it just led to this massive moment right here that could be season changing potentially. We don't know. Hopefully, it's not season changing, but like it was just, I was in awe. I couldn't believe what I witnessed. Which it's just like obviously like NASCAR has those moments and stuff, but not to that extent. It was just like it just felt so unreal what I had witnessed there. But
Yeah.
on track with the actual race, Charles Leclerc ended up
Oh
leading
man.
like 50 of the 52 laps,
49 out of
49,
52.
and then Lewis got to him. Well, yeah, Jay actually wanted to talk the 10-second penalty for Lewis. So once
Yeah,
again,
that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
they they don't base it off the outcome of what happened. Basically, it's based off of the rule they broke or whatever, what the wrongdoing they did, not the actual outcome of it. So Lewis only gets 10 seconds, and with the way everything happened, it didn't really affect him that much. And he's in a Mercedes, so I mean, I was like, yeah, he's still gonna win the race, and sure enough, he went and won the race.
It didn't look like he was with 15 to go.
Yeah, but then team orders happened, and I'm pretty sure Leclerc was still having that issue as well.
I don't think so. I think it was just the hards were just Mercedes is what they needed.
Yeah, it could have been that too, but yeah, that was the second least severe penalty he could have gotten. I don't know exactly what others. I don't know what all the steps are, but they were saying that was the second least severe penalty he could have gotten, which to me is ridiculous because even when you ignore the outcome of what happened to Verstappen and you look at what he did, he full sent into a corner that you don't need to be full sending into because it's so fast and tight and only one car can fit in there at full speed. So I don't know how you look at that and go, okay, he only deserves a 10-second hold in the pit box. Like it obviously it did nothing because he still won the race. So that was just that penalty to me was so incredibly stupid, especially after the way how aggressive they were in Austria, and they go and give him 10 seconds for that. That's stupid,
By the
dumb.
way,
What the heck?
but look at poor Bottas now. It's just like, yeah, he's just a team guy. Like Lewis had this big penalty, or not big penalty, but this 10-second stop and hold, and he still goes blows the doors off of Valtteri, and he's long gone and wins the race. I'm like, poor Valtteri at
Still
this
gets team
point.
orders given to him to let
Yeah.
Lewis through.
I'm just like, man, I mean, shouldn't have had Lewis run him down in the first place, but poor guy. It's a matter of time till they announce the Russell thing at this point. But yeah, I felt awful for Charles. Another win slipping away from him, and
It's the Ferrari way.
yeah, this is the Ferrari way. I mean, it wasn't much he could do, obviously. So
Yeah, I mean, with the medium tires, it looked like the race was over. You know, like
yeah,
because it's like, well, he's holding Hamilton like 2.5 seconds back, and then he's gonna get the 10-second penalty. The race is over, and no, Hamilton just magically finds to be over a second faster every lap, and you're just like, huh?
he was just saving.
I thing is, Leclerc pitted like 5 laps after him, after Lewis. What's the crazy thing?
He's in a Ferrari.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it came down to.
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate for Charles, but I mean,
Yeah.
good for him to get a nice podium finish, though. So, what was it? Bottas was third, right?
Yep.
And Red Bull made Perez sacrifice his race to make sure they could try and get that extra point for the fastest lap
he
to
was
keep.
he wasn't gonna get in points, so
Yeah, and that kept Hamilton at least from an extra point. So the Verstappen still has the point lead by 8. So obviously cut way down. It just shows how it is ironic how like the same weekend, Toto's just like, well, one max DNF, we're right back in it.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
you just had to wreck him.
yep, that's all you got to do apparently. So yeah, I mean, unfortunate. And we look at what's coming up next is Hungary, and that is going to be July 30th, so next weekend. I think that's all Red Bull there.
You can only hope.
I don't see a way Mercedes
Yeah, I
tops
don't
them
see it.
based off the way
Yeah.
the comparisons. I don't see how that works. Spa, it's like similar to Silverstone. Lewis is gonna have to get him on lap 1 on
But
that
here's the
long
thing.
straight.
Here's the thing. They purposely put more downforce on Max's car at Silverstone. And I don't think they're gonna do that at Spa.
Yeah, they want him to get away.
Yeah, but I mean, we just don't know.
And then the
So
Netherlands is coming up. Imagine if Lewis and Max are going at it there.
the Sea of Orange.
I think, man, Lewis is lucky that Netherlands isn't the next race. That would be. I would not want to go there.
Oh boy.
I expect tensions will still be high when they get to Netherlands.
Oh, the tensions are
worse than
high
they
for the
are
rest
now.
of the season. This it changes everything, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
And the fact that Max has said nothing since, I think says a lot.
Usually, when they're staying dead silent, that's not the good thing.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to Ricardo, who actually seemed to
Showed
be
up.
back on track. Yep, seemed to be back on track. So
he had a good run.
yep.
Can confirm Max has not followed Lewis back yet. So,
Yes, excellent.
beautiful. This is great. I wonder if Lewis follows Max. But
Yes.
he should be, right? But
Yeah, that's besides the point. So
yeah, he is following him.
yeah, this is a crazy weekend in racing, to say the least. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was fun to watch. Overall, good weekend of racing. Before we move on, there's one point I see here before Nitro. It's back to the NASCAR subject, and it's for the Coke Zero 400 or Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona for the regular season finale. Coming up here in August 28th, a little over a month. Once again, we complained about this before. We got a country music artist for the pre-race concert. Surprised? Not at all. I actually know who this artist is. Not saying I enjoy them, but I know who it is. But I'm just like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
I did see on Twitter, other people were mentioning like that we're trying to like push in this other direction, and then we keep bringing in country music artists to do our pre-race stuff, you know. So
They want us to go to sleep before the race.
yeah, not much to say about it. I mean, yeah, it's just like, oh, not again. But we expected at this point. But
We expect no less.
yeah. Nitro happened.
Yeah, there was a
Darlington?
lot of night.
It was Darlington, right? Well, there was F1 as well.
Japan.
Yeah,
Darlington.
Jay was in Japan for that race, so
Yeah.
I had a miserable time.
Yes, you did.
Staring, I never, MJ, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I don't ever want to race around you again on F1.
It's a painful experience.
Jay, how was your race?
It's good. I had another race once again ruined by penalties. God, I hate strict corner cutting on F20. Holy crap, it's bad. But yeah, it was good. That's all. That's all I got to say. It was a race in Japan where I felt like I was extremely strong in the rain. I've always been strong in the rain on F1. And so I felt like I was good towards the end. Just wound up losing a couple spots due to dumb penalties, but.
Matt?
I finished 6th. I mean, I didn't expect much going into this one, and I got exactly what I thought I was gonna get. So
It took me like almost half the race to just adapt back to the 2020 driving.
yeah. From 2021 to 2020, it was a lot. You're like,
Yeah, when I first started playing 2021, I'm like, man, I don't know about this. And now I'm
Yeah,
just like, oh, 2021. I'm just like, oh, I like it so much better than 2020.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the
It was
next
a race.
challenge. Is they're gonna have to go back and forth between F1
Oh yeah,
2021 and then
only
2020.
only 4 more though. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
that's what it is.
taking obviously what I'm doing this season serious at all until
Yeah,
next season.
yeah.
I'm just kind of here to just be
All,
like,
all you
woo.
should really worry about is getting enough points to get the team you want.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. If I don't get stuck behind a Ferrari, then I think I'll be all right.
No, I mean
Whatever car he was in.
MJ can be very annoying just cause with
I
on
actually tried to clean him out in the last turn, and intentionally, by the way. I'll completely admit it. I tried to take him right out of the race.
because you know what he does, right? He
Might
basically
have
just
an
sits
idea.
basically in turning sections. He just sits in lean, and then basically in straightaways, all he does is go enrich and full ERS.
Oh, well, the
It's
main problem I had is 130R.
yeah,
Why is it not called 130L? Because it's a left. But anyways, I ran him down from like 3 seconds back.
yeah.
Like no problem. Within a lap, I was right on his gearbox. We come out of that turn, heading down the long straight towards the 130R, and
Mm-hmm.
like I just pull up alongside him. I'm like just about ahead of
Completely
him.
cuts you off.
He doesn't cut me off, but he does what you're talking about with the ERS and all that crap, and
Yeah.
forces it side by side into there to where I get shoved off in the grass, and I'm like, homie. So I'm like 3 seconds back again. Within 2 laps, I'm on him,
Oh,
and he makes a
okay.
mistake in the S's. He goes wide, comes back on the track. I'm like, oh no. I accidentally swerve over and just cut his nose off and clip him in the front tire. But then I made my own mistakes after that and got put behind him again. And then on the last
Yeah.
lap, I was just like, I'm just going to try and wreck him.
Hmm.
I actually failed at trying to wreck him. I hit him, but I didn't wreck him. So
But that's besides the point. That's a little excessive, Gary.
I just wanted to get that out because I was like, come on, MJ. Like, be a little more courteous.
You're never
It's
gonna get
not
that
NASCAR,
from him.
basically.
You're not gonna get that from him. I'm just telling you that. Like Monaco. I was side by side with him. He threw me into the wall. So you want down like the front straightaway at Monaco?
Yeah.
Like I was clearly there, and he just chopped my wing off. So I want to know what I did?
What?
I drove it so hard into turn one. Basically, I was like, "You let me go, or you DNF."
Oh, I mean, start
And with
penalizing them.
about and like I had like a orange wing, and in one lap I pulled 3 seconds on
Oh,
it. Yeah,
poor MJ.
it's just especially at Monaco. Just like what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Um, but that's besides the point. Uh,
NASCAR.
Darlington.
Darlington. I don't remember how exactly I did. I
I
missed
mean,
pit lane twice.
yeah, you love pit lane.
And I hate pit lane on every single racing game on the planet.
The
iRacing,
funny thing
NASCAR,
is
F1.
how the cup rules are. You shouldn't be doing this stuff,
Absolutely not. But
but you do it every week.
I still find a way. I'm like, I'm gonna find a way to screw myself no matter what.
It definitely screwed you out of the win this week.
Yeah. And then I got stuck racing with Jonathan. Because I was really fast at the
Oh,
end. And I don't think I was
yeah.
gonna get to Andrew, but I had a slim chance. But then I got
Are
stuck
we
with
gonna talk
Jonathan,
about
and
the other?
something happened.
Remember, Chaffee was leading
Oh yeah, Andrew put him in the wall.
because he was
Put
scared of
him,
losing.
like really put him in the wall. And I haven't voiced my opinion at all because I was like, Andrew's just gonna rip into me no matter what I say. But I will say, um,
I don't really care at
for
this point.
someone that is extremely vocal when people get aggressive and get physical with each other, and then you go and and then you just go and clean out Chaffee like that, was just like, I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, either you're for it or you're not. I mean, clearly you showed
I mean,
how you really feel right there. I mean, Chaffee was um not gonna be much of a threat within the next lap, but he decided to full send on purpose, intentionally. It was completely
yeah.
intentional. So it was completely unnecessary, in my opinion.
I mean, Yeah, I mean, you saw what I said in Discord, so.
I don't know if I did.
Well, he was complaining about Eric Almirola racing Chase way too hard.
Oh no, I didn't see this happen. No.
All right, and then I said, "Oh, I mean, I was like, well, I shouldn't be surprised considering you complaining about getting raced in any racing game." So, and then he started, ranting.
I came in. Yeah, that's when I came
Yeah,
in
yeah,
and saw it all going down. I was like, what the heck's going on here?
yeah.
Um.
So,
Yeah, I'm all for getting physical. I mean, I'll go and do it myself. I've proven that. I'm like, okay. And
yeah,
then
but I mean, everyone in that Darlington race was like, "What are you doing?"
yeah, I mean, I felt bad for Chaff. Obviously, like
Yeah, yeah. Because
Chaffee
like
was
Jeffrey
getting
was
past no
actually,
matter what.
yeah, but like he was actually like legitimately fast that race.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he finished
Um,
fourth.
but yeah,
Someone that wasn't good.
you.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw my Nitro video, but I literally skipped from lap 130 straight to the end of the race.
I think it was the shortest Nitro video I've ever done,
It's definitely one. It was the shortest one I've done.
and it is not doing good yet. It's only at 800 and something views,
I mean,
and it's flatlining. I'm like, man,
I mean, I mine's doing fine, but
I've never
obviously
had a Nitro video below 1K.
this one might be it.
This one might be the first. And I'm like, heck, if you guys want so bad, I'll just fully dump NASCAR and go to F1 at this rate.
I mean, Nitro videos are fun, so I'm guessing we're not getting one of Japan.
No, I was so annoyed with the MJ stuff, I just deleted it immediately. I was just like,
Wow.
nope.
Okay. But I mean, I was slow. I knew the car was gonna be too tight. I knew it. I saw the preset. I knew it was too tight, and it turned out to be true. So
Where did you finish?
7th.
Okay. Yeah, it was rough then. And then we had iRacing.
Yes, we did.
So it was interesting. I think the first run of the race was my best run overall. I actually led way more laps than I thought. I was like,
North Wilkesboro, by the way.
yes, North Wilkesboro. I took the lead early. I was like, Matt's saving way more than I am. He'll be by me in like 20 laps. I actually led like a good chunk.
I did not. It was not 20 laps.
Yeah, it was.
Did not.
I
It
think it was
took
like
me a while.
70.
It was like
So
80. It was like that.
yeah,
80
something
before I
like
got
that.
the
And I was
lead.
like, man, I led more laps today than I have all season, including the wins and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was fun leading, and I had a nice rhythm going. But then in the last 25 to 30 laps of the run, I really started to fall off, and I was just trying to hang on as long as I could. And then I came in, and then you really stayed out long. You did a one stop, so for me, I was like, I realized I was like, after you had pitted, I was like, you're gonna run me down, no problem, and pass me. I wasn't gonna fight you whatsoever if you had gotten to me. I was just like, there would be no point to fight you.
Yeah.
So I was like, my only hope is to somehow try a two stop and see what I can do, and that wasn't gonna work either because I wasn't gaining enough at the end. I think I was like fourth or something, and which was good. I was happy. I was like, okay. I mean, if I can get Chaffee, then I wasn't gonna get Chaffee either. My pace fell off too much, but
Yeah.
then I come out of turn 4. It was a 99 car was spinning. I'm like, oh, here we go. It's gonna get good. And then
And this is when me and Bryce are just battling for the lead.
yeah, so we had a quick little dash, and Chaffee spun out on the inside of me, and that set up for the last restart.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
And I was like, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here. So I pitted again,
Everyone except me.
except for you. And I'm like looking. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be on the inside. So I stop, or I slow way up, and I let the other Matt get in front. And then I go.
Inside
I'm like,
sucks
yeah.
at Northwest.
But
it was
my problem was, I don't know. So the first restart that we had, I didn't put fuel in the car, and I couldn't turn. Car wouldn't turn whatsoever.
I mean, the car was tight as hell.
And so then the next one, the last stop, I was like, okay, I'm just throwing fuel in it. And it was the same thing. The car didn't feel any different. It didn't turn again.
You wanna know what it felt like? I felt like it was 550 horsepower.
Yeah.
It didn't it?
Yeah,
But it's North Wilkesboro. It's only like 0.6 miles. It should have been
yeah.
750.
And I just overdrove the corners on the last restart is why I couldn't turn. I was throttling up too early, trying to get everything I could.
Talking about someone overdriving the corners on the final
Right.
race.
I knew it was coming. I didn't know
Oh,
where.
I knew it was coming
I
too.
was like,
I
I
knew
thought
it
he
was
was going to
coming.
wait till either turn 3 coming to the right or the last lap.
Yeah.
But then he goes into turn 1. I'm just like, oh no, here we go. And I'm like,
Yeah.
next up, I'm like, how do I avoid this? And like, it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I got through and I'm on his back bumper. And I'm like, the only thing I can do is just shove him out of the way. I was like, he did it to Matt. I'm just going to clean him out right here. But then I just screwed up. I screwed up my whole corner. And I couldn't even get to his bumper because I was trying to dump him.
Like, I wasn't mad because I knew it was coming. Right? Like,
yeah, we all knew it was coming. By the way, he called a shot too. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take him out."
Well, he was like, I'm just gonna drive it in really deep. But like, I'm in a tough spot because like, well, they have fresher tires, even though it's like 3 laps. It's at North Wilkesboro, so 3 laps means quite a bit.
Yeah.
I can't start on the inside. Like, you just can't.
No, not at all.
Like, you gotta pray. Like, the only way the inside's gonna work is if I completely overdrive the corner and Bryce just drives around on the inside of me.
Yep.
And you had to take the outside. I mean, the only thing I can say is like I didn't clear him into the turn. That's basically all I can say.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is what it is. I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah, I don't even. Where did you finish? It was probably like 6th, 7th. I got 4th because I spun out of the final turn.
Yeah.
I was only gonna be 3rd.
Bryce won.
I was hoping. I had a little bit of hope left. I was like, hopefully Matt Sisler would be close enough to try and like send it, but he wasn't close enough either to do anything. So, but I mean, overall, it was a decent race. I think it was actually the best oval race of the year, other than Daytona.
Yeah.
So, I enjoyed
Next
it.
year's gonna be interesting at Richmond.
Is that? Oh, is it Richmond? Oh, I don't
Got all
like
them grip
that
strips.
one.
Grip strips suck. If you thought it was hard to pass in North Wilkesboro, boy, you haven't seen anything yet.
Oh, I love the fact that it was hard to pass when I was leading.
Yeah.
I battled you so hard. Because I knew, I was like, if you get ahead, you're gone. And I was like, with the strategy game I'm going to play, I need to keep him as close as I can, as long as I can. So I was like, I just got to force him on the inside no matter what. And I was trying to pinch you so hard. And it worked for a while. But eventually I just had nothing.
I mean, Bryce was doing the same thing to me. And like, I'm going to be honest, if that caution never came out, like near the end to set up like the last like 10 laps of that race, I honestly don't think I could have got him without like hitting him out of the way.
Yeah. Would you have hit him? I feel like you and I race a lot different. So, in terms of finishing, I used to be in that position where I'm like, I'm not gonna dump a guy. Now I'm just like, get out of my way.
I'm more like how it's more for me. It's more how do you race me?
Yeah, I don't know. My mentality changed after last season in Nitro, and well, it kind of built up where like the way people race me, and I'm just like, okay, if I have a win opportunity, I don't really care how I get it. If I have to shove you out of the way to do it, I'm gonna do it. And like, you owe me, but you have to get back to me at some point to do it anyway. So my goal is to just outrace you anyway, so you don't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
I'm trying to think because like there's definitely some people I would not hesitate to just move
Andrew.
all the way on the last side. There's more than that.
I'd even dump you.
Well, I kind of deserve it.
Oh yeah, we still haven't got payback from NASCAR Heat 3. Even Jay is my best friend. I'd dump him for a win.
I'd dump your ass too.
Unless it's Talladega, because I can't dump him.
You trying to make a move at Talladega probably means you get dumped.
Well, yeah.
It's in the Heat series generally.
Yeah, no, I went from being extremely conservative too to just not caring anymore because of constantly getting raced like an idiot. So I was just like, well, I'll start racing like an idiot too and shove my way through if I have to.
I mean, also at this point, I'm just more like, Just get me off heat, man. I don't really care. I'm
Very
just
curious for this next game. I think in the next couple weeks we'll talk a lot about it more too. But as
yeah.
well for me and Jay, like it's like, what's the spectating system gonna be like?
What do you mean? Why would we care about that?
I've
Gary?
had a lot of change in feelings where I'm like, it depends, because I'm gonna at least, I feel like I want to do at least one season on there as a driver still. But I'm like, if I can keep winning races, I'm like, why would I quit? You know?
It's leaking. Gary and Jay are leaking.
Leaked.
Leaks.
I'm not leaking. I'm not leaking shit.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I mean, at this point, I like whatever happens this season. Like I don't really care,
We're just
man.
literally there to just make it happen and then get to the next game.
Yeah, I think pretty much everyone in Nitro is like we're because like Heat 4 is the same as Heat 5 essentially, right? Like
Yeah.
we are really sick of racing, league racing on this game.
That's why I gave it up. I was just, yeah.
Well, there's one thing about Nitro, Gary. This week is going to be very interesting.
Why?
It's Michigan
Oh, yeah.
with high draft.
Yeah, and it's the regular season finale.
That's probably not going to be a very exciting playoff bubble, to be honest. But
Someone
that's
has
how it
to
goes.
win, so
Not necessarily.
realistically.
So the person in the last person, Rocket is 11th. All he has to do is start. Everyone 11th on up just has to start basically, which is whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Durham is the last one in with Jay and Cobra retiring for respected reasons. So Durham's in. LCS is 10 points behind him. Depends on LCS for even racing because his work schedule is whack. Other than that, Master Killer and Blake are the only two people eligible, and they would have to win.
Huh.
Hooray.
And we just get to sit back and watch.
Well, the race is gonna be insane.
Well,
let's
yeah,
be honest.
there'll be some crashing. Thumbnails, please.
Oh god. It's high draft. What could possibly go wrong?
That'll be great. I need to work on my thumbnails for Nitro.
Yes, Master. You
Get
do
them
have a chance of
more
making playoffs.
professional. I think
it's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, it'll be a disaster. But I think that's pretty much it. That was a good. We talked for 2 hours tonight.
I mean, we kind of had to.
Yeah, we could have spent 2 hours just talking about Silverstone. I think we really wanted to, but
yeah.
So of course, there's no NASCAR or F1 this upcoming weekend. Next weekend there'll be F1, but no NASCAR. So I think what we're gonna do next week is really dive into the gaming side of NASCAR and stuff again. Hopefully there's some more news. But if there's not, we're still going to dive into it anyways and just kind of try and find stuff to talk about with just the future in general of NASCAR gaming. And we might talk about other gaming stuff going on and maybe some silly season NASCAR news. We'll find stuff to talk about. So it'll be all right. So yeah, I mean, is there any last points anyone wants to bring up before we end it here?
I don't have anything else.
No.
All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. If you stuck around for the whole time, this is definitely one of the longer ones we've done, but it was a good time. It was a good conversation tonight. I think we had. I actually feel like this is probably our best show so far. Just overall with the stuff we talked about. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. Thank you all for taking the time of your day to listen or watch on YouTube, Spotify, whatever you do. And we will see you guys next week. Have a great day, everybody.